What's going on, everybody? Have you guys ever been riding around and something super freaking cool happened? The second it happens, you pull off, you look at your GoPro, and it died on you. Welcome to the world of using a GoPro on motorcycling. Anytime anything cool happens, your GoPro's dead. Trust me. So, today I am very excited for the product we are going to be testing out. A company called Innovv. Can you guys see this? Innovv. These guys have been making dash cams for a hot minute, and they just came out with their K5, which is a 4K dash cam that can be installed in basically anything but, check it out, for one, magnetic box, which is great. There are two cameras. This thing is powered by the battery in your motorcycle or the vehicle, so it's always running. It has like loop features and all that stuff, so they sent that out to us, and I was like, yeah, we'll install it on this thing. MT10. We're not going to install it on Brian.
That would be sweet.
I don't know if I want to see that kind of footage, Brian. All right, so... so, guys, today we are going to be installing the Innovv K5 on the MT10, and at the end of the video, we're going to go for a ride with it. So, the main reason, as I kind of was hinting at, why I like the Innovv over using a GoPro as a dash cam is... with a GoPro, for one, if you get in a wreck, Luke, can you go get the dead camera?
Where's it at?
It's on the desk. So, if you, God forbid, get in like a wreck or something like that, all of your data is on this little camera, and it's in this super tiny little micro SD card. Now, this is not a GoPro. This is an Insta360 One X that Luke took out for 24 hours. That fell to the highway. Now, it's not his fault. I don't care that the camera's dead, but what's sad is when Luke went back to get this camera, the micro SD card vanished. And what that means is we have no footage of how cool it must have been to watch this thing tumble on the ground.
Yeah.
I know, right? No, dang. That's their response.
It went into 5 lanes on 75. At like 85 miles an hour.
Huge highway. It would have been amazing. It would have been such cool footage.
It's at 75 miles an hour.
So, so this is not a big deal. We had a dead camera. It's not a big deal. But if Luke had gotten in a wreck with a GoPro and the same thing happened and it wasn't his fault, suddenly the whole point of recording with the GoPro is pointless. The odds of you actually getting footage after a catastrophic event like that, far higher. So I get that a GoPro is probably what a lot of people are using, but this thing has a really good purpose. I don't know what the quality is because I've never used an Innovv before, but we will be testing out that at the end of the video. For now, I have the expert here, Brian, ready to install it. Ooh, God, terrible idea. All right, guys, so as we have the box here, oh, this has a GPS unit as well. Okay. There's a DC converter. I don't know what that is. And we got mounts. It's got a sticker for Luke, so he's going to be super excited. I'm sure he'll want to. Yep. We've got all the Innovv paperwork. We have an extensive. I'm gonna give this to Brian. You can look at that. Holy cow. Okay, so this is complicated. We were talking earlier about why, because Luke, you have one of these, but you haven't installed it on your motorcycle yet. Yeah. Come over here and tell me why you haven't installed this on your... You don't have this one.
I can tell you from here.
Come on, Luke. Come in here. Come on. You have good opinions and you ride more than literally any of us.
Alright, so the reason I haven't done it on my bike is because it's a pain in the butt to do. I have to take my gas tank off to do it as well, so it's really the install that's holding me up on it.
So once you see us today install this, you're probably more likely to install yours?
Absolutely.
So today's going to be a good day for Luke. So we've got, is this the mounts that, oh wow, there's a lot of mounts. Holy.
There's a lot of stuff in here.
Bro, look at the tiny screwdriver. Oh my goodness, that's the cutest thing I've seen today. So the SD card is literally screwed into a box. So it is like black box status.
There is a waterproof cover that goes over it.
Bro.
Okay. No, this is my point. Because, like, if you get in a wreck, now your data, this tiny little card is so much safer.
Unit. All the connections are waterproof.
Y'all, look at this. Okay, I'm going to stop talking. We're going to get to install process, and we'll catch you guys afterwards. I wonder if there's a way to put that camera like right here in between this little nose section.
Like right there?
Yeah, right? Doesn't that make sense?
It would if there's some place here that we could put it where it's not going to damage anything.
Brian, that was a lot of work for a naked bike to get
You ain't kidding.
to get access to. So you're gonna try to put the wire like behind the frame, like between the airbox and the frame or something like that.
Yeah, just so I wanted that off so I can get deep enough behind it to make sure that the wire was going to go someplace where it's not going to fall out.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then run it up off that way. So,
Oh yeah, the whole.
all right, I guess we should probably start trying to figure out how to mount things.
I guess so. Oh, check this out. So if we use the L bracket, the block, and then this guy, because it seems like this might need to be mounted horizontally.
If it is, then I don't know if it's going to fit in there.
Hold on, got an idea. I was gonna say, what if we drilled a hole and just like poke it out the back? Brian, are these license plates required? Because if we could just cut a hole in the middle of that thing, God, if only there was a fat O in the middle. Just drill it, just poke it out,
The cool thing is we can drill a hole in this thing if we want to,
and then
and then if it doesn't work, we just put it back. We just need to put a washer on the back.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I say let's just let's super low profile this thing.
Now here's the thing: if we mount that all the way out there, what are we gonna do with all these wires?
I was thinking we run them up through here.
They're not that long.
Oh.
They're not that long.
Oh shit! Yeah.
We're gonna have to go back to this side mount.
Ideally, this bitch goes like right here, right?
We may have to cut a notch in here for the wires so the seat goes all the way on all the way.
Like right around
Yeah.
there. Okay. What if we use this boy, cut the corner
Yep.
off, and just thread
Yeah.
it forward? Because then we can put a bolt straight through this and not have to deal with shit.
Yes.
Can we cut the corner off this?
Let's get this off and see how that's all gonna work before we start cutting anything.
Dang it! Look at that metal. That's a good chunk of metal.
Yes, it is. I'm happy about that. So we need to drill this and cut that.
Okay. So we're gonna drill a hole for the bolt, the hardware to go into the.
We're gonna open up this slot to fit the shoulder,
Okay.
and then we're gonna cut that
This
bent
is the
end off.
non-shouldered one, right? The shoulder one goes into this.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Just making sure I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So vise.
You know, without the seat, it sticks up a lot. With the seat on,
It's the same height. Yeah.
yeah, works really well.
There we go.
Cool.
Oh, look how neat that looks.
Yeah.
Well, nice and tidy.
You won't
That's-
even notice it being
No.
there.
Okay, so
I feel bad for anybody that sits in the back seat, though. Yeah, you'll probably feel that.
Nah,
this
you
is a
sit.
big seat.
You sit up to. I mean, if it's another dude back here and he wants to make as much space as possible in between the dude.
Or
in
they
front
got a
of him.
big badonkadonk, a little gorilla dumpy.
Well, that's true.
All right, so,
He said a gorilla dumpy.
all right.
Homeboy said gorilla dumpy.
So let's move to the front.
Camera one done.
Camera one done.
Let's put the controller on, because that's just a very simple handlebar clamp.
All right. Alright guys, as you guys saw, we got the rear worked out, cut a little hole in there, and everything's working fine. Wasn't the best use of hardware that they sent to make this work. There's a bolt that holds here, like it ain't going nowhere, and we're gonna route it clean, but there's gotta be a better way to do the handlebar remote, and it even says how to do it. So whatever, we did it like that. It's light, it's not going to go anywhere, and now we're going to move on to doing the front camera, which, based on the instructions, might be the rear camera, but for the MT10, this little guy is going to fit too easily into there. So, if we can make that work. So, that's what we're going to find out what we can do now. Alright folks, we got the controller up front. We've got our little fancy boy here in the back that fits with the seat. Next up is the interesting little front mount. This little guy. Can you guys see it? Check this little guy out. It comes with this little housing, and originally when we looked at the bike, we wanted to put it here because it just makes sense, but we think the move... Where's the horn bracket, Brian? So there's a little mounting point right there. Brian's got some fun ideas for that we think we'll be able to put it right here and have a good shot.
Hopefully.
Oh, nope. My kind of speed.
I don't know why, but my brain wanted you guys to do this at the end of it.
All right, let's see if we can get this front thing mounted. Do we need to go?
Make it a little bit easier.
All right. I'm gonna grab the and then we'll go.
I don't know what's up on the camera to orient it.
That's a good point. We can rotate it though, so it's not the worst idea or plan or stuff or things. Check it out, guys. So that's the Innovv. It's the front cam. Now, Luke was looking at the instructions, and they recommend using that as the rear camera, but I don't think that would have worked out in the rear as good as it is in the front. So you're not getting as much quality out of this little guy. We are going to have to rotate this whenever we figure out what the orientation is. But that's probably the coolest shit of this entire setup, is how flush that can be. Moving on to the power supply and the GPS antenna. So guys, when we were opening up the power supply, red's power, black's negative, and the cool thing about this thing is the yellow wire is what you put on a cable.
Switched
hot cable. So the reason that's important is because if you've got this thing plugged into your motorcycle and it doesn't automatically know to turn on and off, then you're going to have this like parasitic loss of your battery. One day you walk out and your cool motorcycle that can record things has a dead battery. So that is what that allows. And this thing has loop recording, so it'll just like record all the time until something happens and you tell it to actually save that data. It's pretty cool stuff.
Okay, it works. Done.
It does.
So where do you want to run the mic to?
Honestly, we just need to grab a cable so it doesn't move and stays in here. So guys, now that we've got everything working, we got to make all this stuff look pretty, because as you guys can see, especially here on the other side, we got cables literally just running all over the place. And if I know Brian like I think I do, he is not a fan of unsuper clean cables.
You won't see any of these wires come down.
Boop you. Boop you, man. Whoa, hold on. Boop. No way. Boop. Sweet. Boop. 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 Oh no, it's malfunctioning.
Inside out!
That didn't complete the circuit. No! Dr. Fishy, no! Guys, guess what? Everything's installed, and I told you, did I not tell you Brian would not rest until everything looked at, wait, let's grab the seat, let's throw the seat on. This is what everything looks like underneath real quick. So guys, something to note, with the, we did go ahead and put the microphone on. I don't know if there's a mic in here at all, so we wanted to go ahead and have some sort of audio. So under the seat, this microphone doesn't have any sort of like wind protection, so I don't think there's any better spot than under the seat. Audio might sound a little muffled, but I'd rather have some audio than none. So let's get the seat. Yeah, that sounds about right. Camera, you would stick out if it wasn't for the seat being so high. But when you put the seat on, like, look at that. Can't even really see it.
The front one's like super stealth.
Bro, the front one is like super stealth mode. We took the controller off here because the cable was a little pulled tight to get to the back control unit, so we ended up just using some double-sided Velcro and popping it on. And I mean, I honestly think that's it. We got the GPS unit up here in the front, right there, and legit the front. You can't see this at all. It's insane. So now the only thing I have to do is go out and test ride this thing. The app seems to work fine so far, so let's cut to some riding footage, huh?
The camera didn't look half bad either when we looked at the footage.
I know, I'm excited to actually see it once we get it on the computer. So let's go for a ride, ladies and gentlemen, and check out this Innovv K5. So guys, one of the really cool things that the Innovv K5 has with it is that GPS module that we installed. Now, check out this view on my phone. If you actually watch the video on the phone, it gives you this Google Maps overlay, and that little motorcycle on the map part at the bottom half, that's you. And because of the 5 Hz refresh rate thing, that's what's making the motorcycle update as fast as it is. So you guys can see the view up top actually corresponds with where you are on the map with the little motorcycle icon. That stuff is really awesome as a feature that you don't really get in a lot of other cameras. Another really cool feature that you get with the Innovv K5 is that it's more of a security camera and not really much a GoPro. One of the things you can tell that by is here on this screen in the bottom left, you guys can see information like the speed, the date, the time, and it even gives you the coordinates of where you are. This stuff would be super important if you ever got in like to a wreck situation. You could see how fast you were going. Hopefully you're not speeding, because we don't speed here, of course. So another feature that you guys probably should expect on an item like this that is going to be actually installed on the motorcycle is waterproofing. The K5 is actually IP67 waterproofing, so you will have no issues if you run into a rainstorm or anything like that, which is kind of necessary, right? If you're going to have something installed on your motorcycle, you're going to be doing a long trip, you don't want to have to stop riding in the wet because, you know, the camera that's installed on your bike isn't waterproof, so they definitely check that off. All right, so let's talk about that external microphone that we installed underneath the seat. This is the audio that thing captured. Now, if I'm going to be honest, guys, I was shocked at how good this microphone sounded, especially with the MT10. The motor sounds so good, and with the microphone installed underneath the seat, you get to hear a lot more of the little clicks and shifts and stuff like that I typically don't even hear while I'm riding. So I love the fact that this microphone picks up so many of those. I might actually start using this audio in some of my videos because the audio that it's picking up is better than the microphone in my helmet. So as you guys can see, I've got an app on my phone for the Innovv, and the way I'm able to connect to it is through a Wi-Fi network. So I basically just log on to the Wi-Fi, and then I'm able to access the camera, see all the videos and photos that I've done. It actually has 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, and from my experience, connecting it to your phone is super fast and reliable. When you turn on, there's like a 20-second delay before the actual unit comes on, and after that, the app works really well. Alright guys, so let's look at some footage from the K5. Now, you guys remember during the installation, we put the 4K front camera on the rear of the MT10 just because that's where we decided it fit better. Now, if you're installing it and you want the front camera on the front, you would need to install this on the front of your bike. But let's look at some of the 4K quote-unquote front camera footage. So guys, I think this thing costs around $450, and the fact that you get a 4K camera, a 1080p camera, and you get the external microphone, you get the GPS module, you get the app, you're actually getting a lot for that price. I know it's more expensive than maybe a GoPro Hero 9, but for the amount of stuff, the full package, I think you're getting a lot for that. So let's jump to the rear camera, or, you know, the front camera for us that's tucked up underneath the face of the MT10, and check out what that 1080p footage looks like. Alright, so as you guys can see, the quality on this one isn't as good as the 4K, but it will totally work in case you're in a wreck situation. Remember, I like this thing as a kind of always there and a backup camera in case you get in a wreck or something happens. What I love about it is the fact that it's always on. You can just go ride, and if anything ever really cool happens, a cool car goes by, you have a near miss with like a deer on the road, you never have to pull over and check that the camera on your helmet is going because you know the camera on your bike is always rolling. If you're ever in a situation like that, now you have footage because you got an Innovv on your bike. I love it for that fact. Alright, so guys, that's our video on the Innovv K5. Let us know what you think about it in the comments down below. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are into motorcycle content, and we will see you guys on the next one. Alright, Outro Crew, thanks for getting to the end of the video. Let us know in the comments down below, what are y'all's favorite feature on the K5? This thing can do a ton of stuff. Which one specifically is piquing your interest the most?